still alive, which is good, isn't it? So we went to the vet a couple of weeks ago, and the general prognosis wasn't great. And we took her back a few days later, and we had the x-ray done, and it's pretty bad. So in rabbits, one of the things that causes... Hello, mister. One of the things that causes the most problems is something called GI stasis, or the silent killer. This is when the stomach essentially stops moving, stops pushing things out. It can be caused due to a few reasons. It can be caused due to hairballs, which is not the case in this one. She didn't really have enough fur. It can be caused to pain in other areas, so not being able to eat or not wanting to eat or lack of appetite. Or it can be caused to gas build-up, usually from just being empty for so long. She also has problems with her teeth. So a normal healthy rabbit will have decent length teeth, they'll be straight, they'll have teeth at the back. This one had what are called spurs on every tooth. So spur is when it grows up and out and to the side. Essentially it was shredding the inside of her cheeks, wasn't it? All the way along the inside of her mouth, as well as the front teeth being too long on the bottom and not long enough on the top, and every tooth has tooth disease. So we had the spurs removed, and she's been on antibiotics, so her cheeks are healing up nicely, and she's actually able to chew things a small amount now. We won't know about the tooth disease and having all the teeth removed for another 4 or 5 weeks. If we do have to have them all removed, that will probably be the end of it for her, but fingers crossed it doesn't get that far. The GI stasis is starting to speed up, so we're doing feeding sessions once every hour or two, all day. And she's also on painkillers, aren't you? So that everything that's going on with her mouth and with her tummy and with everything else, it's not distracting her from eating. She can actually go and she can have a nice full meal. So we've been chopping up romaine, and we've been chopping up mint and coriander and other things that are not too bad. We've cut out stuff like carrot, but we've kept the carrot tops. So lots of healthy green vegetables for her. We've also been doing ear drops. So she is deaf. Whether that was a pre-existing thing or not, or caused by neglect, we don't know. But the ear infection certainly was caused by neglect, so we've got ear drops for that and ear cleaner. Also had a chest infection. So she's got antibiotics, not just for the cheek, but for the chest infection. And I took her back yesterday. They said that that had been clearing up nicely. She also had skin mites and rashes. There's a lot wrong with this one. But we are trying our absolute best to get her better. We've been introducing her to our other rabbit, so they're getting on quite nicely. And since we introduced them, she seems to have a lot more energy, so she just needed company to get her moving about. So yeah, we're doing feeds of something called critical care 6 to 7 times a day. We are doing painkillers twice a day, antibiotics twice a day. Eardrops I've already done, they're in the other room, but that's twice a day. And then belly rubs for a good hour or 2 a day, just to physically get the gut moving. So if it's not doing much itself, we're physically moving everything along for it. But she's a fighter. So the first feed of the day is always a difficult one, because she's always got 9 or 10 hours without the painkillers, whilst we've been sleeping overnight and while she's been doing her thing. And the last feed of the day is always very difficult, because obviously it's the longest away from the time when she's had her painkillers, so she's not usually quite this kicky. Are you? It's got to be done. Ready for the rest? Come on, you're doing so well. You're doing so well. So this might look a bit rough, but not hurting her, keeping her fully supported. Every time she wants to flip over, we're letting her. Make sure she's got a nice comfy towel to sit on, and so she doesn't piss all over us. She can't eat a lot on her own. Her teeth still hurt. Even with the painkillers, she can't get a lot down. She can't really chew hay properly either, so we can surround her with lots of nice healthy rabbit food, and she can't get through a lot of it. And we can't just give her vegetables. You are making it difficult today, aren't you? Kind of like having a toddler. Like, babies aren't that hard to feed. Toddlers will kick things and throw them everywhere. cover the walls in food, the tables, the floors. They'll put the bowls on their head full of spaghetti. You're a bit like that, aren't you? You're a toddler. If she's got food in her mouth and she won't eat it, rubbing her ears makes her lick her lips. It's a weird habit she's got. Just to make sure she gets it down. Medicine isn't really a problem. It's the food that she has an issue with. Get about 3 drops in at a time. Doesn't mean having to flip her 20 or 30 times, but try not to rush it. This is why I didn't upload sooner. It's a lot of work. On top of having a job and everything else. So we don't know whether she's going to be okay, whether she's actually going to pull through for another 4 or 5 weeks. That's when we find out. We take her back for another x-ray and see how her teeth are doing. So we can get the stasis going properly, get it gone. Chest infection at least managed, if not cleared up. Skin mites will be gone. The ear infection should be fully better by then. It's just the teeth. I'm definitely fully of the opinion that there are a lot of people who should not be allowed to keep pets. You gonna swallow for me? Yeah, here we go. So as you can see, there's 15 milliliters in this. We can do usually about 1 milliliter at a time without forcing it down her throat. The problem is you can put the syringe directly into their mouth, but that can do 3 things. A, it's very uncomfortable for them. B, you run the risk of squirting it straight into their lungs. Obviously not good. And see, with this one, where she's got all of the scarring and the raw flesh in her mouth from where the spurs were digging into her cheeks, we run the risk of causing more damage. Don't we? Nope. Nope, 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 nope. You're not done yet. Nope, 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 nope. You're not done yet. Come on. Here we go. I think we are going to call her Biscuit, though. It's the name that we put down because we couldn't think of anything when we first took her to the vets for a checkup, when we brought her in, saying we found this nearly dead rabbit. And ever since then, when we go in to the vets, they've always referred to her as Biscuit, so now it just sounds like her name. We were coming up with all these different names, and some of them were really good, and some of them were very nice. But now that other people have been calling her this, because the receptionist call her this, our veterinarian calls her this, it sounds like her name. And it is really nice, given everything that she's been through, and is still going through. Just to be called by her name, it feels a lot more respectful. Because where she's been before, she obviously has been very badly neglected. Even with her teeth, the vet did say it's the worst case that he has ever seen, and if she does survive, she'll be going in the Hall of Fame. But it is nice to see her running around, and it is nice to see her treated with respect, and with dignity, and with care. And we've grown very attached to her now, so that's important, isn't it? Just when the vet called us during the week after the x-ray, when I was called, he told me what was wrong, and I was at work at the time, and I was so just angry. I was furious that anybody could do this to another living thing. Was just beyond me. You can see when animals are in pain. You can see when they're happy and when they're sad. Especially if they're kept by you, you have more time to see it. You can tell. And whoever did this to her is a truly evil bastard. Hello. Ear trick. If you see this and you're considering getting pets of any description, be it rabbits, cats, dogs, gerbils, mice, guinea pigs, birds, reptiles, do your research. Find out how much space they need, find out how much attention they need, find out if they need company, find out what the common conditions are. It's the same things you would do if you were having a child. If you're going to be responsible for another life, you should be good at it, or be trying to be. You shouldn't be neglectful. I mean, what we're doing now, the feeding every hour, is bloody hard work. It really is. But if you were a child, you'd do it. And I don't value one life above another, so I don't, I don't say I could not do it. I have a lot of people saying, oh, you're doing a really good thing. And I was like, well, I'm just not doing a shitty thing. If something is in your care, you have a duty and responsibility to look after it, and to do anything else is neglectful and it's cruel. So we've seen this one, Binky, we've seen her run around, and we've seen her play with Peter, our other rabbit, and she is having fun. If this is the end of her life, the next 6 weeks, and she's comfortable, she's got company, she doesn't like the feeding, I grant you, but about as happy as she could be. Better than being shit scared and broken in a field. Anyway, the overarching thing was, hello, she is doing better. We'll find out in 6 weeks whether or not, whether or not she's actually going to survive. But for the time being, we can get her as well as we can to give her the best shot. I'm just angry. You know? Don't be a dick. Basically. If you can't take care of an animal, don't have one. If you find that, for one reason or another, whether it's your fault or not, an animal's gotten into a state and you take it to the vet and it's expensive, which I think is what happened with this one, don't ditch them. Take them to someone who gives a shit. And I don't hold with the excuse that they don't have the time or the money or the resources to find other people. I know so many good people who would do the same thing I'm doing. And we have access to the fucking internet, and we have cars and public transport. Giving up on something like this is not understandable. It's shitty. It is bad. It is cruel. It is neglectful, and it is ignorant. And it does make you a bad person. I don't give a damn what your excuses are if you do it. It's not aimed at most of the people that are watching this, just if someone comes across it and they are considering doing something like that, bite me. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I've got to finish this now. I'm very good at multitasking. She's doing better though.